Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Salaam Alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Bismillah. You got to have it at least once. We have to have it at least once, okay? Family, friends, foes, haters, and haters, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like and please subscribe and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. We got to have at least one snafu with this time, family. So, family, I won't take up too much of your time, but this is pretty important. I think it's relevant, particularly during the month of Ramadan. So I just want to jump right into this, right? Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe Biden. You know, let me tell y'all something about Western politics and Western politicians, right? All Western politicians will support Israel. They'll do it, especially U.S. politicians. They will do it because Israel is a colonial project to have, as we mentioned many times before, a European passageway in the Middle East. Okay. At this point, I'm just waiting for a technical difficulty. Well, we already passed that point. We did it already, Tawhid. Okay. So, family, it really wouldn't matter if it was Jim Crow Joe or George Bush or Bill Clinton or Donald Trump. All of them will support Israel. Why are we talking about Jim Crow Joe today? Is because of the audacity of Jim Crow Joe, right? He will probably go down as one of the most wicked, evil men in history if you just research all the wickedness that this man has done. Absolute wickedness. The vice president to Barack Insane Obama. Okay. So we've also mentioned before many times that there is no two-party system in the West. Okay. It is an illusion of a two-party system. But what they do is they carry out the agendas of corporations and banksters and whoever is interfering with the system at the time. And now we're witnessing the full-fledged collapse of democracy in the West, as well as the global capitalist system. We're entering into a new era right now, and the writing is on the wall for these folks. But what I want to do is that, because Jim Crow Joe has always expressed his undying support for Israel from way back, even before October 7th, right? But I want y'all to see the tune that this dude is singing now. Okay, so like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. Let's get into it. Let's see what he got to say today.
Hunger.
During an interview on MSNBC, President Biden criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu by saying he's hurting Israel more than helping Israel.
He has a right to defend Israel, a right to continue to pursue Hamas, but he must pay more attention to the innocent lives being lost as a consequence of the actions taken. He's hurting, in my view, he's hurting Israel more than helping Israel by making the rest of the world, it's contrary to what Israel stands for. And I think it's a big mistake.
This man has some real audacity, bro. Okay? He's basically talking about the lives that Israel, has caused to be lost by this genocide, is televised genocide that is being broadcast all over social media. But I digress. Okay, let's keep watching, y'all.
So I want to see a ceasefire.
In the same interview with MSNBC's Jonathan Capehart, Biden warned Netanyahu against invading Rafah. But he also vowed to keep arming Israel regardless of what Israel does in Gaza.
Did y'all hear that? So he vowed to keep arming Israel regardless of what Israel does. Let's go back to see what he said. Look at this, y'all.
More than helping Israel by making the rest of the world, it's contrary to what Israel stands for. And I think it's a big mistake. So I want to see a ceasefire.
He wants to see a ceasefire while arming Israel. I said he wants to see a ceasefire while arming Israel.
Stop the cap.
This man is tripping. He is straight up tripping. You're arming Israel, giving Israel the munitions to carry out a genocide while saying that you want a ceasefire. It's like telling Jeffrey Dahmer you don't want him to eat any more, young black men, but at the same time sending him into the ghetto with a cookbook and all the tools he needs to make Negro soup.
Bruh.
Like, what is you talking about here? How do you demand a ceasefire while arming Israel at the same time? But I digress. Let's keep watching, y'all.
In the same interview with MSNBC's Jonathan Capehart, Biden warned Netanyahu against invading Rafah. But he also vowed to keep arming Israel regardless of what Israel does in Gaza.
What is your red line with Prime Minister Netanyahu? Do you have a red line? For instance, would invasion of Rafah, which you have urged him not to do, would that be a red line?
It is a red line, but I'm never going to leave Israel. The defense of Israel is still critical. So there's no red line. I'm going to cut off all weapons so they don't have the Iron Dome to protect them. They don't have, but there's red line.
There's no red line, and I'm going to cut off all the weapons.
That if he crosses, and he cannot have 30,000 more Palestinians dead.
That's his red line. His red line is that you cannot have another 30,000 Palestinians dead.
Damn!
This is Jim Crow Joe Biden, family. This is who he is. Okay? The one who bragged about being the youngest Dixiecrat. That Joe Biden. The one who prevented busing for black students to post-integration. That Joe Biden. The one who wrote the 3 strikes bill. That Joe Biden. Talking about it doesn't matter if he had a hard life and this and that. We have to send a message. That Joe Biden. The one who said if we didn't have an Israel, we would have to invent one to protect our interests in the Middle East. That Joe Biden. The one who told your old, tired, irrelevant, obsolete civil rights leaders that they will have to work with the Hispanics because white folks are about to be a minority in America. That Joe Biden. This guy. And the one who voted for the Iraq war and later lied about it during his presidential run, then lied about the lying that he made about lying about his support for the Iraq war. He said, no, I didn't support the Iraq war. And then when it was broadcast all over social media and mainstream media, he said, oh, I just misspoke. That Joe Biden. The one who said that he witnessed with his own eyes, this is Joe Biden, okay? He said that he witnessed with his own eyes Hamas eviscerating babies. I repeat, eviscerating babies, which turned out to be a blatant lie and a baseless lie in order to garner support for Hamas in their genocide to begin with. Now he's running around talking about, oh, we need a ceasefire. We can't see another 30,000 Palestinians dead. That Joe Biden. This man is a total demon. Okay? He is a devil. If he was a jinn, he'd be locked up with the rest of the shayateen for Ramadan. He's so wicked, he probably doubly locked up. He'd be an ifrit, okay? He'd be a high-level shaitan if he was a jinn. This guy. A very incredibly wicked man. Like, absolutely wicked. And now, he's out here talking about he wants a ceasefire. Family, in 2024, it's not like 1984 or 1994, where perhaps the lines between the enemy and those who are enemies and those who aren't were blurred and obscured. It ain't like that anymore. Okay? Now, there are no more blurry lines. It is very clear and obvious who the enemy is. And you can tell just by a few seconds of their speech who your enemy is. It's not like the past. And even your alleged, I say alleged Muslim brothers, they can't hide from you anymore. They can't. Because even they, when they talk with these populist talking points, you can tell very quickly who your enemy is. So it don't make a difference if it's Jim Crow Joe or if it's Donald Trump. It don't make a difference. The second these folks taken aside for white supremacy, that's your enemy. You don't have to ask too many questions, especially for a Muslim in 2024, because it's absolutely inexcusable for you to take these sides with folks like this, especially folks like this. Wasn't this the same Joe Biden, the very same Joe Biden that said he saw the videos with his own eyes of Hamas cooking babies, whatever he saw? Didn't he say that? It is now October 7th was when that Hamas thing happened. It is now what, March 11th, and now he's calling for a ceasefire only because of pressure. That's it. The powers that shouldn't be, they're tired of Israel too. They're tired of it. It is a it's like a it's like a money pit. It's something that is you put money into, but you never ever get your return on investment. That's all it is. So the powers that shouldn't be, they themselves, they're looking at Israel like, what the heck are y'all doing? Mind you, there are genocides happening all over the world right now, specifically because of U.S. geopolitical interest, like what's going on in Haiti, like what's going on in the Congo, like what's going on in Sudan, like what's going on in Ethiopia, and on and on and on, like what's happening in Yemen. It's always some Western, white, foreign power interfering with the peace and the affairs and the going-ons and the happenings of some other darker skinned country somewhere. All the time. And this ain't no different. This ain't no different. How are you going to say it in one breath that you are against Israel? You can't have another 30,000 Palestinians die, but and then with that same forked tongue mouth of yours, you voted for the Iraq War, which killed over 500,000 Iraqis, and more likely more than that. Your foreign policy, which caused the starvation of millions of Iraqis, you, with your foreign policy, used depleted uranium bullets on civilians in Iraq. Depleted uranium, where Iraqi civilians were ending up with deformed babies and cancer and all kind of madness because you wanted to use depleted uranium and munitions against the people of Iraq. And you got the nerve to point your finger at your baby, your project, the thing that you invented, the thing that you supported. You know, you can't give no reparations for black folk for building your country, but billions and billions and billions of dollars go every single year to support and uplift and make sure that the apartheid state of Israel is in full power over the Palestinians. And now you got a problem. Now you got a problem. These people lie. All they do is lie. We told you before. There's a verse in the Bible where it says, the devil is a liar. He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. So when you're talking about the devil being a liar, it's not just with his tongue, okay? It's with everything. Everything about the devil is a lie. Everything. If the devil wears a suit like Joe Biden's suit does, that suit is a lie. If the devil has a gray hair, the gray hair itself is a lie. That's not gray hair, that's a lie. Okay? Everything about the devil is a lie. When the devil walks, his walking is a lie. And it's not just about Joe Biden, because U.S. foreign policy dictates that they prop up the most wicked, evil people in these positions to carry out their agendas. And then they demand the moral high ground, where they have caused the most death and destruction in human history. Everything about these folks is wicked and evil. And mind you, these are just the ones that we see. What you got to understand is that these people They're not actually leaders, they're employees, which is why they take the positions that they take. This is why Joe Biden can talk about, well, we're not going to stop supporting Israel and the Iron Dome and blah, 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 blah. You know, we're going to continue arming them. And of course, Netanyahu is going to continue using those arms to wipe Palestinians off the face of the earth. These are people with a long history of genocide, a very long history of genocide. Not just massacres, actual genocide. Wiping off entire peoples off the face of the planet. Ask the indigenous Indians about smallpox. Ask the indigenous Indians about when these folks came and slaughtered the buffalo in order to starve out the indigenous Indians. Ask the descendants of slaves about massacre after massacre after massacre. The wiping out of black towns off the face of the earth. Ask the indigenous black folk in the West about the Highway Act. How your highways that you drive on were used to raise entire black communities to the ground. They have mastered the art of genocide and then turning around and saying, you know, things like the axis of evil, like George Bush and them. Wicked, evil people. Absolutely wicked, evil people. Everything about them is wicked and evil. And if they were jinn, they would be locked up with the rest of the shayateen for Ramadan. 100%. You can't look at these folks as, you know, regular human beings. They're not. They are the enemy. The lines are getting less and less and less, and so much so that there are no more blurry lines. People are going to have to take very clear positions. Very clear positions. You know, Allah, He's telling the story about Adam and Iblis in Quran, right? So He tells this story. Right? Some of y'all probably read this already in the first night of Ramadan already, in Surah Al-Baqarah. If some of y'all finished Baqarah, you know this ayah already, these ayat. Anyways. Right? So Allah says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وعالم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم أردهم على الملائكة فقالوا أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. So He taught Adam the names of all things, okay? Then He presented them to the angels and said, tell me the names of these if what you say is true. Right? He's putting the angels to test because the angels were asking about this Khalifa He's about to put on the earth, right? So the angels, they said in Qalu Subhanaka. They replied, glory be to you. La ilma lana illa ma a'lamtana. We have no knowledge except what you, Allah, have taught us. Innaka anta alimul hakim. Okay? Verily, you are the all-knowing, al-alim wal-hakim, al-hakim, and the all-wise. Okay? So, Allah continues in the Quran, right? So He says, Qala, He says, okay, Ya Adamu, أنبئهم بأسمائهم. Okay? Inform them of the names. فَلَمَّا أَنْبَأَهُمْ بِأَسْمَائِهِمْ. And then Adam did indeed inform them of the names. Okay? Qala. And then Allah says, أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكُمْ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ غَيْبَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَأَعْلَمُ مَا تُبْدُونَ وَمَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْتُمُونَ. Did I not tell you that Allah saying, I know the secrets of the heavens and the earth, and I know what you reveal and what you hide, what you conceal. Okay. With kulna lil malaikati, and remember when we said to the angels, right? Allah saying, remember when we said to the angels, وَقُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجُدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. Right? So, we said to the angels, prostrate, bow down to Adam. فَسَجُدُوا. They bow down. They did it. They followed the command of Allah. They follow the command of Allah. Illa, except Iblis. Illa, except Iblis. Okay? But you don't stop there, right? Aba wastakbara, okay? He refused and he wastakbara. He was arrogant. He was arrogant. Now, if you think about this description, why did Iblis refuse to bow down to Adam? Why did he do it? And why was he arrogant? It wasn't the arrogance, of competition or anything like that. No, this was like a very haughty, almost like a jealous rage arrogance. He looked down at Adam. He was like, this pathetic thing? You want me to bow down to this pathetic thing? That's how he was seeing it. If you look at these folks, what happened when October 7th happened? What did they say? The first thing that they call the Palestinians is what they call us black people. These human animals, you expect me to have respect for these? Wallahi, that's what they called them. And that's exactly what they called us. You want me to bow down to this? But Allah, he continues. He says, وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. Okay? This is how he became a disbeliever. Not because he didn't know Allah existed, not because he didn't understand the authority of Allah, not because he didn't believe in Allah. It was his arrogance. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? These so-called chosen people of God, God's chosen people, did they stop believing in God? Did they say God doesn't exist? Did they start worshiping some other God somewhere? And then you have the superior race. The card-carrying members of the superior race of mankind running around the world on every single darkest skinned country on earth, giving them, talking about how they should act and whatnot. MashaAllah, may Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you a millionfold. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Thank you so much for your generosity and a long-time supporter, Kevdi Hayakum Allah. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you a millionfold. As may Allah reward you tremendously. Really appreciate you getting active on this late, bro, on this huge night. May Allah make the Ramadan be filled with winds that sail us to Allah's pleasure. Hayakum Allah. May Allah answer your dua. Everybody in the chat say Ameen, Ameen, Ameen to Brother Kevdi. Ameen, 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 Ameen. My sunnah, my personal sunnah for me and my family, I kind of alluded to this last night, but in Ramadan, what I like to do personally, I like to make my ibadah very private, right? So what I like to do, this is just my personal preference. I like to wake up early, right, in Ramadan, and I never actually expressed this before, right? I never actually expressed this before publicly, but I'm just doing it, because I'm vibing with my my subscribers now, right? So I wake up very early, and then I make my ibadah, very early in the morning, right? This has been my way for many years, right? Even outside of Ramadan, I like to I personally like to make Qiyam al-Layl, right? And I like to fast regularly, right? I'm not just I'm just saying that because you're probably wondering why I'm on at tahajjud time, right? But I like to do tahajjud by myself, to be honest, right? That's my personal preference. Right, I don't have anything against going to the masjid to making tahajjud, but I feel just based upon what the sunnah is, it's just better if you're making tahajjud together with your family. So that's my personal preference, right? So if you can do it by yourself at home, the best time to do it is very early in the morning, right? You can do it after Isha if you want, right? But I personally prefer to do it early in the morning. That's been my sunnah for a long time. You can ask, my family members. This is what I do, right? So that's why I'm on now, right? So for the people who are, like wondering, okay, well, it's like 10 o'clock, right? Right? Why aren't you with the message? This is just the reason why. Only that, right? But Jazakumullah khair, may Allah reward you and answer your dua. Ameen, ameen, ameen. So look at here, family. They were disbelievers because of their arrogance and their haughtiness. That's what caused them to disbelieve. They believed that they were better than beings that they had no right to say that they are better than. After the command of Allah has come, you submit na wa ta'ana. You hear and you obey, correct? Don't these very same folks look at us the same way that Iblis looked at Adam? They look at us the very same way. They look at us like we are subhuman, and they say it, and they write it in their books and in their literature, and they put out all these kind of pseudosciences to prove how superior they are to us. Meanwhile, while they're being so superior, they have no choice but to interfere with our affairs day and night. They can't help themselves. They can't help, like Joe Biden, like we mentioned in the beginning. This Joe Biden, the same Joe Biden today who is calling for a ceasefire, that very same Joe Biden is the very same Joe Biden who bragged about being the youngest Dixiecrat, who prevented busing to go to black communities during the end of segregation. This Joe Biden who wrote the 3 strikes bill, that Joe Biden. This is the very same man. And the superior beings on earth, right? The superior race is now working with God's chosen people to do what superiors shouldn't do and what God would never allow. These folks. So the veil is being uncovered from them. It is very, very obvious. You are not God's chosen anything, except for maybe chosen to go to hell. Except for that, maybe. Your whole essence is a lie. All of it is a lie. Everything you say, you do, you wear, when you use the toilet, that's a lie. When you flush the toilet, that's a lie. When you eat food, that's a lie. You can't believe anything you say or do because it's all a lie. All of it. Your name is a lie. Your children are a lie. Okay? That's who you are. So Allah continues. وَقُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجَكَ. Okay? And we said to Adam, okay, live with you and your zawjaka, okay, your wife, al-jannata, right, in the paradise. وَكُلَ مِنْهَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا. Okay? And eat as freely as you please. وَلَا تَقْرَبَا هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةَ فَتَكُونَ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. But do not approach this tree, because you will be from the wrongdoers. Okay? Don't approach this tree. That was the only command given to Adam. So you got to look here, right? Because Adam, from this point, he's only known the reality of being in the garden, correct? He has yet to witness anything resembling deception. He's never witnessed this before. You get it? He's never seen it before. It's like dealing with these people. Our first encounter with the white supremacists, just over 400 years ago in Africa, we had no clue that these folks, they came into our garden, okay? We had no clue of their deceptions. We had no clue what they were plotting and what they were planning. We didn't know. So Allah just gave them one order. Don't eat from this tree. But what happened? فَأَزَلَّهُمَا الشَّيْطَانُ وَعَنْهَا فَأَخْرَجُهُمَا مِمَّا كَانَ فِيهِ. Okay? But Shaitan deceived them, and leading to their fall from their blissful state. Okay? Just like these folks. They are deceivers. They are liars. They come all over the world promising one thing and giving something else. Go research about the IMF, what they've done to Africa, what they've done to the global south. Promising loans to African countries, telling them, oh yeah, we'll build your infrastructure. Yeah, we'll do this for you. The next thing you know, the entire country is enslaved through debt. And you have people talking about, well, why are all these African countries suffering? It's because of these folks. Did not Iblis talking about, I'm a sincere advisor to you? The only reason why Allah doesn't want you to eat from this tree is because he doesn't want you to have eternal life? They never heard no lies like this before. Let me ask y'all something. Have you heard some lies like some of these folks, like these folks, or who are alleged world leaders? Have you heard some of the lies that they say? Outrageous lies. Outrageous lies. Like Joe Biden talking about, yeah, he saw with his own eyes Hamas eviscerating babies. He saw it with his own eyes. But this is the important part, the meat, right? So Allah continues, right? So we said, descend, go down from the heavens and be to each other enemies. Be to each other enemies. Y'all hearing me? The question y'all gotta ask, family, how do you know who your enemy is if you can't see your enemies? If you don't, because your enemy ain't coming telling you that he's your enemy. Your enemy's coming telling you that he's your friend. Like Jim Crow Joe Biden, okay? Ain't that what they doing? These people are your open enemies. They are very clear and open enemies. And there's no doubt about their animosity and enemyism. Okay, we're making up words today, all right? All right, family, it's getting real late, man. It's like 10:17. I want to go to sleep because I want to wake up early. But Jazakallah khair, thanks for joining me tonight. I really want a special shout out to brother Kev D. Hayakum Allah, may Allah reward you and bless you and multiply for you 1,000,000-fold for your generosity. And may Allah bless your fast. And don't forget to increase your ibad and increase your dua and make dua for your brother as well. Subhanaka hamdik wa shahada la anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.